So people who do dumbbell rows, there's a ton of ways to do dumbbell rows, like we've shown on here, like off a bench, just leaning off of stuff here, creating space here, rocking, whatever. But like, I mean, if you want to do the laziest dumbbell row of all time, which is also probably one of the most effective for, if you already understand your concept of feeling your lat, then doing this style of dumbbell row you'll understand pretty quickly. I wouldn't recommend this for someone who's trying out, like beginning working out. But the idea of like, I want to be as relaxed as I can be in my body, and I want to let this arm hang as long as I can. So I want to create distance in this shoulder, and I want to create stability in my body. That's why we do it. When we do it here, we're locking out here and we're creating stability in our body and allowing for this reach, right? But beginner stuff is that. If we want to do this more advanced, more relaxed, less energy wasted, all I'm doing is putting pressure on this forearm. I don't care whether the forearm's up a bit, whether it's whatever. I'm just not gripping here. I'm not trying to hold on for dear life. I'm just putting weight onto this bench as if I'm taking a nap or putting my head down. I'm grabbing this dumbbell and keeping it at length, and I'm relaxing here. So as soon as I feel like the shoulder is retracted and set out of my shoulder, protracted and out here, I'm gonna posture up with my head kind of looking over my forearm, where I can keep my head down if you guys can understand head pressure here. But all I'm gonna do when I'm here is just rock this shoulder. So I'm sliding and I'm rocking. So I'm keeping stability in my hip, I'm keeping stability here and stability in this lat, locking me down, so that I can just slide through things. So I can get this length and relax and squeeze. All I'm doing is dropping, driving shoulder, and driving elbow, and rocking. So it's not this whole production of like, woo, and pulling and all this shit. It's just like, find my line, arch into it, lock into my lat, so tuck that elbow in a bit, and just pull. Find the line you're on and rock, right? The same thing with the other side. I just want to be rocked here. You guys can see I'm framed here, so I'm locked on my tricep and my lat, rocking. Once you guys understand like the movement of your shoulder and understand that like it's not a twisting movement. It can be twisty, there's twisty aspects to it, but the thing is we just want to feel this shoulder, like we're showing on the dumbbell. I just want to feel this shoulder protract, and I want to feel myself go like this. So I want to be able to do this, rock, which is what we're preaching on everything that we're doing. Whether it's a chest supported row, I'm trying to get my chest off things, whatever it is, I'm trying to drive. All it is shoulder mobility. This is going to help you with that because it forces you to keep your body flat. So I'm basically a flat surface across my back. I'm obviously angled, but I'm keeping tension across a flat back, and I'm letting this shoulder reach out. So I'm not being here and going and holding here. I'm letting this happen, letting this lengthening happen to the point where my arm is relaxed. Now I'm sliding. So I'm arching up wide. If you want to get a wider pull, you can always pull open, come around more. But the idea is that we want that arm and that lat working on its own. So don't make it, if you're one of these people who's doing dumbbell rows, understand that you don't have to do like these fucking dudes you see they're doing this. It's the same thing here, right? I can create this length here, but I still can't create the same length I did there, because my arm hanging at full length is right now here. If I try to get lower, I touch the ground. If I try to get extension, I touch the ground. So I'm still limited here, and I'm having to hold all my body weight with this hand and this knee. So I'm uncomfortable as fuck. I can't get movement up. That's why a lot of guys, when they do this, they twist. And they twist, you see them turning because now they have leverage on it, right? Whereas this, my weight is dead and I'm just rocking my arm, right? So if you guys have a hard time with dumbbell rows, this is something you should try. You can do it off any of these benches. It doesn't have to be this curved bench. I just did that because it's comfortable. If you have a bench like most of these benches are in every gym, it's just a matter of finding it here. I can, as long as I can create the length where my shoulder can rock out and I can be dangling here without touching the ground, that's where you can be. You can play with how high or low this is, but I just want to create this stability here and let the shoulder move and feel that length, and don't rush out of your pull. So I see people like butchering fucking dumbbell rows like all the fucking time, and they're like, oh, dumbbell rows don't work, this or that. And yes, there's like plenty of machines now that are fucking amazing and you don't need dumbbells for a lot of stuff, but when you are limited with equipment where you find yourself not connecting on that equipment, dumbbells will always be there and they always work. So, and to be honest with you, you can go pretty heavy on these, because like say you wanted to go heavy, I did 35 pounds for the demonstration because I'm lazy. But if you wanted to do like 80s and you want to wrap up or you want to do whatever, it's understanding that my lat is already so engaged and so lengthened that when I do pull and rock this shoulder, it's not about how far my elbow turns. It's about how much activation I can get in that lat and that shoulder rocking, right? So you can almost get pretty heavy on this and work at the bottom range for partials. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not concerned about how high the elbow is going. I'm not concerned about how deep I can get my elbow. My lat's already open, so I'm sitting on it. I'm kind of crunching into it here a bit and resting here, so my shoulder's down and I'm rocking here. So it's this straight line pull. So you'll notice when you get heavier, it's gonna take a little more oomph to move through something and I can rock, but I'm still getting this massive stretch. So in doing it a little heavier and allowing the weight to be a little bit unmanageable is actually a benefit because it's gonna stretch your lat more. So there's pros and cons to doing it both ways, and there's pros and cons to doing it lighter and heavier, right? So don't be afraid to go heavy on something like this because you've set yourself up in such an advantaged position to begin with to stretch the muscle, right? It's not like we want to be like these guys you see on Instagram and they're stretching their lat, like reaching across the room. Eric, I don't know how to say his last name, Janecki, he made a funny fucking video about how long he was stretching his lat for, and his workout partners, they flash over to him and he's like, he's a fucking skeleton by the end of the workout. He's like, every rep's taking forever. And he's like leaning out over the bench, like stretching, and squeezing. It was pretty funny. There's another dude who did one, but he just like kept stretching. He just like kept moving along the ground. He's like, you can get further. It's like, it's true though. Like you guys, there is an aspect, and it's important to like stretch the muscle, but there is a point where it's like we've said and other people have said in different studies, like there comes to a point when you're stretching too much where you're causing too much damage. I want to cause the right amount of damage, the right amount of stress. I don't want to just stretch a muscle and lengthen it and fucking damage it for no apparent reason. I want to like still stay in a range where like there's this elastic feeling. We're still in the fart zone. You know what I mean? Full active range of tension. So just don't, even if you guys end up doing the dumbbell off the bench, like understand like you can do it. And if it's the only way you understand how to do it, but you're gonna wanna get a wider base so that I can at least have this lat reach in a bit. If I keep this narrow base and I just popping up into here all the time, there's no shoulder motion, right? So I can't, at least here I can get a reach across, my lat can go in a bit and I can rock open so I could pull through and around this pull with a wider base. But these guys see doing are just starting a lawnmower, yanking this thing. It's like, you gotta figure out a better way, guys. Even do it off one of these. Like you can fucking, as long as you can get distance to hang, if this is a little too high, it's okay. I'm just rocking on that lat, letting that lat hang around my body and sweep up through, right? A lot of people think because when you are stretching your lat, you're reaching across your body. I can see my lat reaching, right? That doesn't mean that that's an optimum way to pull. It doesn't mean I pull and go like this, and all of a sudden my lat does this elastic band wrapping around my body. It's like, it still has to move in straight lines. But we still want that lat to move out. But our hand and the plane of the pull is still a straight line. It's just everything else is moving around that straight line, right? So it's just common shit I see going on with most people when they're doing back. So, and they're easy fixes. They don't have to be like these massive changes, right? Expert back tip. I don't know if you'll be able to see this because I can't fucking, I think I showed it with Abdullah one time. But if you guys want to set, like the easiest way to set a pull, depending on what it is you're trying to do for a pull. This is obviously a fucking fairly super advanced machine in terms of like its ability for like how options of what we can pull in angles. But the thing is, I want to start these pulls most of the time when I'm trying to get full lengthening or stretch my back with my shoulders out. If I can't do that, we'll do what I normally do, which is like where I catch my body into the position I'm already in and sit with it, right? But if I understand both now, I want to be able to at least hang here so I can get stretched up in my lats so that I can pull my head back and set down. So if you guys can't do that motion of pulling your head back relaxed, I don't mean going like this and pulling your head back. Just pull your head back and then set your shoulders down. I didn't pull there. My hands didn't pull. I literally set my scapula down and locked my head back. And now I'm going to move in that plane where I'm pulling around things. So I can feel my back, my lats reach around, come around my shoulders, and I can drop my shoulders and pull again. So this whole idea of being able to do this on a pull where I'm here, I'm overstretched, I'm able to pull here, and then I'm able to set. So if you guys need to just practice that from now on, practice holding here and setting your shoulders down. Hold that scapula for a second and then let it go again. Being able to set here and understand that now I can move from here is like gonna be a game changer when it comes to doing your back. That ability to set your back and then let the back move around that, imagine your back is still in the middle, it's not moving, allowing everything to move back around to it and back to it is the key to developing back and not getting like massive shoulders and traps, right? We gotta lock down those things that wanna do all the work for us. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of debate about this, videos I've seen lately too, kind of explaining like how dumbbell or barbell rows aren't necessarily the best thing for lat development, which I would kind of agree with depending on how you're doing them, especially like most people are doing them nowadays. But like the one benefit of barbell rows is a person's ability to understand how to set their hip and to hinge forward. So if I'm able to keep this position, or however it is here, and pull, and keep that position, I'm getting erectors to fire, I'm getting my lower back to fire, I'm getting my hips to fire, I'm engaging in my glutes, I'm able to pull and create that tension, right? A lot of people have horrible barbell rows because they can't hinge. So they pick up a weight and they try and hinge and then let the weight drop in front of them, and it's always this. Because they can't maintain that posture, right? So a lot of times what I'll do, especially when I train a lot of guys and girls who are limited in their mobility, it's like, don't start them on the barbell where the bar is coming up from the ground. I'll have them understand how to pull to them. So if I stand up here and I set, imagine I've just taken a bar off of a rack. I'm standing here with my bar out. There's tension obviously in front of me. All I'm gonna do is learn how to hinge. So again, I'm not moving my arms. I'm hinging, and I'm sitting my knees, and I'm keeping myself steady. Now I'm gonna let my shoulders go if I want, and I'm gonna slide up through. So I'm gonna at least get my body used to this feeling of holding this position and pulling before I start doing this position, because all it is a transition of understanding where I'm pulling from. But even getting people to stay in this position who have like underdeveloped mid back, lower back, you'll see them, they'll immediately get here and they'll want to go, and they'll want to pull like this because they can't maintain this position. It's fucking impossible for them. So if you're one of these people that has like poor erector strength or poor like lower lat development, lower back development, mid back, have yourself in this retracted position, pull your shoulders back, chest up, and just feel yourself sit like you're doing a stiff leg, and then bend that knee when you feel like you have to like cradle the weight. So I'm still here. So even if I let go of this now, it's gonna smash on the stack, but I'm gonna stay right here. So even you holding that position, say you put the weight fucking stupid heavy or heavier, and you don't even plan on pulling. But I just want to get myself in this position. Everyone's talking about rack pulls. At the end of a rack pull, I'm here and I'm squeezing. It's okay, so keep that rack pull mentality, keep that back flex on those shoulders down, and hinge that hip and hold here. And hold this position. Don't fucking lose it. As soon as you feel comfortable, let your shoulders rock off of it, drive up into you. Drive up into you. Don't pull to where you think you should pull, which is your belly button. Pull to where your shoulders retract, without you rolling forward or having to like come up. We just want straight lines of being able to like let my shoulder go, pull my shoulder back. That shoulder retraction is the same thing we did over there. You were above your head and you held on here, and then you set your shoulders down and you pulled, right? It's the same thing here. I'm setting my shoulders down when I set out here. So I'm hanging here. I'm gonna keep them in my body. I've locked into my mid upper back. Now I'm gonna let my shoulders go out. And now I'm gonna rock. So my arms are moving without my body. My body's helping the momentum of the pull, but I'm under stress in my erectors and my lower back the whole time. So get your beginner clients, or you guys that have really, really shitty backs, start doing your rows off cables. You can get closer to the cable, further away from the cable, but just get that back to hold that tension and understand that positioning, right? Even just doing that, you'll probably stand up and be like, my back's pumped and all I did was stand up with weight. It'll be a better pump than you've gotten in your fucking entire 20-year career.